stunning beaches, historic cities, and really good coffee. We are out of the rain and into the beautiful town of Cascais, Portugal, just a short train ride from Lisbon. Since arriving in Western Europe, we hiked the DNT in Norway, ran up Jungfrau in Switzerland, drank beer at Oktoberfest,
It's great! Like everything!
and discovered the wow factor of France, all before trekking the Camino del Norte in Spain. This journey to Portugal is a last-minute one that came about after our Camino when we were wet and frozen and dreaming of sunshine. And we wanted something that didn't quite break the budget. Oh, and remember how we booked a flight to the wrong country and had to abandon our suitcases before hiking across Spain? Well, we needed to retrieve them too. In this video, you're going to see what a week looks like in Cascais, Portugal, and share some of our favorite activities that we did, including exploring Lisbon, the ancient city of Sintra, renting bikes, attempting to surf, and our favorite museum in all of Europe. This is the story of thawing out in the November Portuguese sun.
We are in Portugal!
Woohoo! We are not in Porto with the suitcases, but
No.
we are in Lisbon.
We had to get out of the rain.
Had to get out.
I think
had
we
to get
were
somewhere warm.
cold down to our bones after that much time walking in the rain, and so we looked for the cheapest option that we could find. We found a bus ride yesterday that we took that was
Long.
10 hours, and then we had a 2-hour train thing to get to our Airbnb, but we're here and we're, yay!
And it's warm and sunny and we're so happy, and Lisbon is beautiful.
Yeah, first impressions, 10 out of 10. All right, we're gonna go get some bread.
On our first day, we wanted to check out the city of Lisbon. It was only an hour train ride away, and we had heard so many things about this beautiful city.
Got the goods.
After the train, we followed standard procedure. Get coffee, get bread, and walk around until our feet hurt. This generally leads us to making a list of everything that we can do over the course of the week, and it allows us to walk down streets that we might otherwise overlook.
So we've got 5 days in Portugal, which is not nearly enough time.
No.
But we have a flight next Friday leaving to go to UK, and this was a perfect in-between get warm spot. So that's why we're here. We have no plans. I know nothing about Lisbon or Portugal.
Although my goal in the next 5 days is to learn about Portugal. Lisbon is an extremely hilly city, and it is stunning everywhere you go. As the capital of the Portuguese kingdom, Lisbon has a large maritime history and global impact, acting as a port for ships that rounded the Cape of Good Hope in Africa, which opened up new spice and silk trade routes with Asia, and ships that would discover the Azores, Madeira, and Cape Verde.
So I think we missed the highlight part of the sunset. It was still really pretty though. But now we're just walking around. We've got 2 hours to spare until we have dinner with a friend. So we're just checking out the streets. Best way to view town. Look, it says mayor. They never have my name anywhere. We're just gonna pretend to block it out. Mayor, how cool.
We got into a lot of shenanigans while exploring downtown Lisbon while we were waiting to meet up with Meredith's old college friend Jordan, who's now made Lisbon her permanent home.
So, Meredith had to touch the sweater on the mannequin and fell right off. So she picks it up, looks around, and puts it in the pocket of the mannequin sweater.
I was so embarrassed, and I tried to find somebody to help me, but I didn't know where to put it. And now it's in the sweater. Let's see if it's still there. Do you see that handless mannequin?
I don't know what it's like spending a day with Meredith. That sums it up.
After a month of having dinner at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., you think we would have gotten used to it, which we did. At some points it was fine. We're ready to eat. We have another hour to burn until we can meet up with Jordan. But I'm so hungry. Good morning. It's actually 1 o'clock. We're just now starting the adventures of the day.
I love Portugal.
We did wake up early and we went for a great run, came back, made breakfast, took a nap, and now it is time to adventure.
And we are ready.
That's the sun. You probably don't recognize it because you haven't seen it in 2 weeks, but it's here. And this is the police department. Okay, so I panned away really quick because I was embarrassed, but that police department always has 2 police officers and 1 very innocent looking person standing outside of the building. And I don't know if they're just like casually talking or they're individually pulling people away to question them. But wouldn't you agree? Like every time we
Always
pass...
2 officers, 1 person who looks ridiculously innocent and normal.
Yeah, it's really weird. So, I don't know, maybe they've got a lot of friends here. Today we are exploring Cascais, which is the town that we're staying for the next 5 days. We have 3 goals for the day. Number 1, get to the cute downtown and find the yellow brick road. Number 2, go to a fun coffee shop and ask the locals when all the Christmas lights go on up, because we passed the area earlier this morning on our run and it looks really cute. And number 3, we're gonna go to a history museum and learn a little bit more about Portuguese history and the history of this area. This is the first traffic jam we've seen. It's 1:30 on a Monday.
Despite our well-laid plan, this was kind of one of those days where we just had to go with the flow. When you come to Cascais, we recommend spending at least 1 day exploring without a plan. There are tons of hidden nooks, beautiful streets, and charming shops to check out.
I think we found downtown.
Woohoo! Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't see no yellow brick road yet.
That is true, but it looks very cute. What's interesting about this area is I feel like it's a good mix of a bunch of places that we've been before, but in its own Portuguese way. What I mean by that is it kind of looks like St. Augustine. Did you drop here?
Yep. Got him.
It kind of looks like St. Augustine, Florida, meets Fort Lauderdale because it's got some city to it, meets St. Pete because it's got like young up-and-coming vibes.
So by a mix of places we've been before, she means all the best places in Florida put together.
Yeah, maybe that's the Floridian in us.
Cascais has been a destination for Lisbon residents since the 1870s, when King Louis I of Portugal made it his summer residence, and other Portuguese nobility quickly followed suit. This city is one of the wealthiest in the entire Iberian Peninsula, and is renowned for its beauty and high quality of life.
Every time we go anywhere, Colin stops and looks for the real estate and then comes back and reports if we can move here or not. What's the verdict, honey?
Nope. No good.
All right, mission number 1, find out about the local history. Let's find out if this place is free. It's closed on Mondays, probably because some people have jobs around here that they're working instead of hanging out downtown.
Which is a real shame because this is our museum day we planned.
That's okay. We'll figure it out.
The city has a long history. The Romans were not the first to reside here, although they also praised the region for its beauty, and they built many salting stations for fish. After the Romans came the Visigoths, whose marks can still be found in the ancient cemeteries and necropolises. When the Moors entered Portugal, they also settled and valued this beautiful region. In addition to being a center for sea commerce, fishing, and agriculture, the strategic location also served as a defensive outpost for Lisbon from the 1400s onward. Today, it still retains its old-time charm and beauty, and we love it.
This town is super cute, but you just get the vibes that it's a very expensive area. So expensive. So expensive.
How we're choosing what street we go down, any street with a wavy sidewalk, that's a good street to be going down.
With the museum closing, we're trying to refigure out what we're gonna do today. So we're just gonna wander around until Portugal tells us what we should do today.
One of the charming shops we wandered into was Mundo Fantástico da Sardina Portuguesa, the famous world of Portuguese sardines. With locations around Portugal, this carnival-themed sardine store left us with a smile and a small souvenir. Portugal has been famous for its canned seafood since the 1800s. With hundreds of years to perfect the recipes and process, it's no wonder this industry used to be the second largest in Portugal's economy, with roots dating back to those Roman fish salting stations.
Okay, so we just talked to the nice guy, and he explained to us that back in World War II, Portugal had a lot of fish, obviously, and so they were passing out fish to different troops around the world, and so they're putting it in these cans, like the sardine cans that we were looking at, to give to soldiers all over the world. And now it's become like a very big thing here. And so they've got a bunch of different varieties. You can get it from all different regions of Portugal. different types of fish, and it's pretty cool. And the years do not correspond to when it was packaged.
All the same, but the packaging is very cool.
Yeah, very fun.
Smoked and spicy sardines.
Colin talked us into buying some. Test it out for dinner tonight. Two happy clams. Not at a museum. Just kidding. It's such a nice day. I'm glad we're outside. We all make sacrifices in our relationship. Mine is that I'm willing to go back to the the specialty coffee shops for Colin. It's a big sacrifice I have to make.
Big sacrifice.
We were just talking. It's kind of crazy. We never plan to end up at the coolest towns. We just find the cheapest Airbnbs, and then every single time we walk around, we're like, this is the coolest town.
It's always the
I
coolest
can't
town.
imagine being anywhere else.
And she's off to the Christmas store. I have the wallet, so we're safe, but I'm still nervous what she's gonna get.
We found
We found it.
the yellow brick road.
However, I have to tell you, this is not the happening part of town I thought it would be. And it kind of smells.
Okay, well, let's keep going. Maybe it gets better.
As a Wizard of Oz fan, Meredith was a little disappointed in the Yellow Brick Road. No wizard, no Tin Man, no Cowardly Lion, just seafood restaurants.
Colin thinks he's in a competition with my dad and my brother to who can capture the most birds. And so for the past year, everywhere we go, Colin uses the bird app to record the noises. And he gets really stressed if we don't find new birds often enough. And he also gets very excited when he does find new birds. So it's just another part of my day. Update. So we thought maybe we just didn't make it to the right road for the Yellow Brick Road. We're looking at pictures online. It was from 3 years ago, so the road's probably just washed away, which is a bummer. Because I was super excited for Yellow Brick Road, but it wasn't yellow, nor was it brick.
Cascais is an extremely walkable city, with a well-developed coastal bike path and parks scattered all throughout the area. Unfortunately, I'm not sure these birds count towards that competition. Undoubtedly, the best part about staying in Cascais is the access to the water, the bike path, and the rocky shoreline that begs to be explored. This shoreline has a westward view to the Atlantic Ocean and is one of the best viewpoints to watch the sunset and relax after a full day of exploring.
This is, without a doubt, the best sunset spot I think we've ever had.
We are so lucky. We got the rocks, we got the biggest waves smashing all around.
It's amazing. And the sun's not even down yet.
No, we got time.
We got all the time in the world. Right, so as the sun goes down, I have to admit, I don't think we really achieved any of our 3 goals, except for getting coffee.
We did get coffee. We did not get to the museum. The Yellow Brick Road we did get to, but
Wasn't what we
it was a
expected.
letdown.
And we didn't get to learn too much history besides the sardines, but that was a pretty cool piece of history to learn.
And we walked all around town, but could not find the dates of the Christmas festival anywhere.
Yeah. So, we failed you guys. However, wow.
Great sunset.
I'm already excited for tomorrow. Good morning. We are awake much earlier than we were yesterday, and today our plan is to bike around Cascais and go kind of either direction. We're not really sure where we're heading yet, but we're gonna be on the bikes all day.
Yes, we are.
All right, Colin found us a bike rental shop that's 15 euros for the day, so we're heading that direction. We debated if we were gonna get coffee at the coffee shop that's right here. I lost, so we're getting coffee along the bike path in an hour.
Woohoo! She's gonna be happy, just you wait. Okay, maybe Meredith didn't know the full plan. We woke up this morning with the ambitious goal to rent bikes and take the coastal route to the ancient city of Sintra, where we planned a lunch date, cocktail, and historic tours of fantastic buildings. None of this plan came to fruition today. They call me Figgy. They don't.
It wouldn't be a bike trip without first going to the bakery that we've been to 3 days in a row.
After renting bikes, we began pedaling along the coast. We quickly found out that our legs were not as recovered as we would have liked. After leaving the city, we biked past sand dunes on the coast, among which was a secret I had been planning since we arrived.
Okay, so the bike right here was gorgeous, but there was a huge hill at the end, and all I can think about is the fact that it's noon. I haven't had a cup of coffee yet, and I'm pretty tired. But we just arrived to our coffee shop, and it's overlooking the ocean. And it might be top 5 best coffee shops we've ever been to, and we haven't even gone inside.
I'm the champion! Champion!
You're forgiven.
And I was right. After biking up the hill to get there broke her heart, the outdoor, dog-friendly panoramic views fixed her right up. After caffeinating up, we continued our ride.
One thing I think we've learned today on the bikes is that you can be really in shape for one sport, like we're in great shape for walking 30 miles a day, and then in terrible shape for the next sport. We haven't biked in 3 or 4 months. I can barely go anywhere.
Doozy.
We had crazy ambitions for the day. But then the road turned into a winding and steep hill that was unrelenting. The sun started to beat down, and we had to pull over multiple times. We finally took shelter in the shade. After cooling down, we decided to get back to our roots and get on our feet. We just can't do bikes very long. This trail was one of many in the Sintra Cascais Nature Park. It provided stunning views of hills, cliffs, and crashing waves. There was a whole network of trails here, so we cannot say for certain what loop we did, but certainly none of them will disappoint. Somehow, like always, we end up in the most beautiful places in the world.
Left the house with no plans.
Rented bikes, ditched the bikes, ended up here.
I don't know how it happens.
Life is great and Portugal is beautiful.
I'm so happy to be here.
Well, the hike was spectacular, but like all good things, it's coming to a close.
Just like the good old days.
Show them the Camino.
Look where we are. Wow, that downhill might be the best. Actually, it is the best downhill I've ever ridden on a bike.
100%. And it made me feel a lot more validated struggling going up the hill.
Yeah, I didn't realize how far up we had gone.
Oh my gosh, but
Yeah.
we're flying coming down.
Yeah, but we made it to the sand dunes, so now we're gonna go walk around, check that out before we return the bikes.
When the hill brought us back to the sand dunes, we took a small walk to admire them one last time.
Woo! Alright, so far I would say Portugal is a perfect vacation spot. feel so relaxed here.
It is a vacation destination.
Yeah, definitely. Great sunsets, great beaching, hiking, water activities, food, people, history.
Oh, it's got everything. It feels like a vacation.
Yeah.
Learning our lesson from the failed bike ride, we agreed. Let's just take the bus to Sintra. Although inexpensive, we can't really recommend this. If you're visiting Sintra from Cascais, we highly recommend just taking an Uber. The bus route there involves several transfers, a few hours, and we accidentally hopped on the wrong bus, which just made matters more complicated. When push came to shove, the €9 Uber for a 20-minute ride just made a lot more sense. Let it connect us to the suburbs, and then we're just gonna take the suburbs to where we need to get to.
You feel good about that?
No.
This is so pretty. And it kind of makes me wonder, because it starts with the zigzags down there, if we just zigzag all the way up there. Which I feel like I somehow got tricked into another day of hiking with you. Can't stop us.
Always bread. The medieval city of Sintra was a key strategic and cultural area throughout history, and is home to plenty of historic and beautiful buildings, castles, and landmarks to tour. Even just walking around the downtown area feels like an adventure. A hilly adventure. We wandered around the city to decide which landmark we wanted to prioritize, since we could only afford one on our budget. We finally made it into a museum. This one was free. We were given a massive booklet of all the information on Ferreria de Castro. Knowing nothing of the man before we entered, we were enamored learning his story and how he became a world-renowned Portuguese writer and journalist. He is considered one of the founders of Portuguese social realist fiction, whatever that might be. While he was living in the Amazon, on the banks of the Amazon River, he started to write his first little books. Ferreira wished to be buried on the road to the Castle of the Moors, and that made choosing which castle to explore pretty easy. We're following in his footsteps and heading to the Castle of the Moors. If you're not feeling up for all the stairs and elevation, there are plenty of taxis happy to take you anywhere you need to go.
We had a great coffee break, we read our books for a bit, and now we are hiking to the very top point so we can overlook the whole city.
We're about 1/3 of the way up.
It's a lot of steps. Alright, time for the little lunch break. So today for lunch we have what we ate for dinner last night because we were smart and cooked a double. We've got some figs in here.
We're in the castle.
We're on the inside now.
The Moorish castle is a young Colin's dream, and I imagine I'm not alone in this. Situated atop one of the peaks in the Sintra Hills, this castle was built in the 900s during the Moorish occupation and is left standing to this day. The castle was occupied by the Moors until 1147, when it was handed to the first king of Portugal. After the conflict between the Moors and the Christians came to an end, the fort was slowly abandoned as its inconvenience of life overshadowed the need for its defensive purpose. In the 1800s, restoration began on the castle, and in 1995, UNESCO named it a World Heritage Site. Thankfully, even after 1,000 years, kids like me can run around the ramparts, dreaming of being a knight and defending the castle. This was the highlight of our time in Cascais. What's a cistern? We don't know. We're finding out now. Ooh. I still don't know what a cistern is.
No, it's really cool down here.
But it's cool. Despite the failed bus ride attempt to get to Sintra, we were convinced that we could manage a bus ride home. For only €1.50 per person, we snagged a seat on the bus to all the coastal towns between Sintra and Cascais. In other words, the most scenic bus ride we've ever had. Our time in Sintra was a huge success. You'll notice we are once again braving the bus system. This one seems much more straightforward.
Yeah.
We're on the right bus.
Super proud of us.
First try. Usually we're good with bus systems, but for whatever reason today was a hard one.
Yeah.
Sintra, though, should be on your list. The castle's amazing, especially the Moor Castle.
Yeah.
And the
Amazing
city
town.
itself is just beautiful.
Yeah. Great day. Thanks for joining us. So I think we found our surf school for the day. So excited!
Coming to you live from Copenhagen Coffee Lab.
Coffee! And what's that?
Sourdough baguette.
What? We've never had bread before. Not familiar with this.
This is different bread. This is sourdough. Following a successful bus ride home last night, we took our chances getting to the far side of town, which included a train, a ferry, walking, and finally, a taxi. Once we made it to the surf beach where we planned to spend our day, we got lunch at a food truck to fuel us for the adventure. Ordering in Lisbon is really easy. Almost everybody that we encountered spoke English. The night before, we booked group surf lessons, but it turns out we were the only ones who showed up, so they turned into private lessons.
Wetsuits are on.
It's game time.
We're ready to rock and roll.
The waves were incredible, and only one of us received a bloody nose, so it was a very successful surf adventure. There are tons of surf schools and rentals along the coast, and you can't visit Lisbon without giving it a shot.
It's also crazy because when we started it wasn't high tide yet, but over the course of the 2 hours it became high tide, and you could feel the difference. Holy cow.
My big takeaway is surfing is awesome. You should surf. You should surf in Portugal. We will surf again, but maybe not tomorrow because we're pretty zonked right now. But what a fun activity, what a fun day. I'm so glad we came here to do it. I got nothing but great things to say, and Mare's nose is okay.
Yes, and I'm really glad we took lessons. I don't think we would have made it on our own.
No, definitely not.
If you're a true follower of our channel, then you know that I get limited to 2 outfit changes per day, no matter what we're doing, hiking the Camino, exploring a city, you name it, Colin gets mad. But here's the man, getting an outfit change.
I didn't make us stop walking. Meredith made us stop walking. In fact, I was ahead of her.
He tried to distract me. He was pointing out things for me to look at. He's like, I'm just gonna see if the sweatshirt still fits.
It does.
Ridiculous. I think anytime that you go from one country to the next pretty quickly, it's really easy to just compare the two countries the whole time.
It's not hard.
It's all we've been doing. Biggest difference that I've noticed is the menus. Spain doesn't have as many menus as they do here in Portugal.
And in Portugal, the menu's in your face. People are outside displaying them, asking if you want to look at them.
Which is quite helpful, to be honest with you.
Extremely helpful.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all.
So I was wondering, wow, this is amazing. They have such a well-marketed viewpoint from the top of that church. There's posters and arrows and signs and everything. Turns out you have to pay for it. It's actual marketing. It's not just come explore our city and have a good time.
Yeah. Told you.
Our final activity in Lisbon was the Lisbon Story Center, a museum in the heart of downtown, directly off the main commercial square. This square is right in front of the water, filled with happy people, and it was just beautiful. Although this is not a free museum, we had interest in learning some of the history of Lisbon, and this museum was the perfect fit, and we loved it. Starting thousands of years ago, the museum takes you through the incredible seasons that this city has experienced, including a jaw-dropping exhibit on the Great Lisbon Earthquake of 1755, which completely destroyed the city. The museum ends showing the modern construction and use of the city and the city square in great depth. We got chills walking out of the museum into the sunset hitting that very square that we just learned so much about. We cannot recommend visiting this museum enough. This was our favorite museum in all of Europe. A final benefit to visiting Lisbon in November, the Christmas markets.
Look, it's another sardine place. Alright, so it's a really short visit because we're on our way to meet Jordan for dinner and drinks, and then we're supposed to come back here with her afterwards, but we couldn't stop ourselves since we saw it. So we're gonna pretend we haven't been here before.
But we also spent $0, so mission success.
This is true.
If you ever need to thaw out from a Camino, or just want to explore a beautiful city, we hope Cascais is on your list, and we hope you enjoyed this video. Now, let's see if our suitcases are still in Porto.
Yay!
Look, they're here!
Oh my god!
Just these two little guys.
Just where we left them.
The messing up on public transportation saga continues. Today, we bought our tickets. We were on the train platform 8 minutes early. Train's canceled. Normally, it'd be an inconvenience, but today we have a bus to catch to leave here, and if that train's canceled, the next one doesn't come for 45 minutes.
And then we won't
If
make
it's
it.
coming.
Oh.
And that means we don't make it. So once again, we are Ubering because we didn't mess up this time.
No, third time we've had to Uber, second time we bought tickets and haven't been able to take the train. Maybe it's us. I don't know.
This time it's not us.